From beautiful La Jolla, California, just a foul ball away from the YMCA, welcome to La Jolla Youth Baseball. It's the Mustang division. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Benson for George Langevin Productions, and this morning it's the Rockies going up against Sports Chalet. The Rockies are managed by Matt Brower and coached by Marty Greenberg, along with Jim Roth as well. Sports Chalet, they're coached by Pat Boyle, David Vance, Michael Kaz, and Joe Trotter. They're managed by Brian O'Connell. Les Dis also came in this morning and helped the kids out, warming up and throwing some batting practice and those type of things. But the Rockies, they come into the ball game having a nice first half. They were 6-2-1 and are actually undefeated here in the second half. And for Sports Chalet, they've won half of their ball games on the year. So it looks to be an exciting game. We'll be back in a moment. Leading things off for Sports Chalet is number 1, Jack Boyle. First pitch right down the pipe by Jacob Greenberg, who'll be starting on the mound for the Rockies this morning. Batting second for Sports Chalet is Daniel Schechter. He's a shortstop. Ray Dis batting third. He'll start on the mound for Sports Chalet this morning. Will Trotter batting cleanup. He's the catcher. Scott Lacaze batting fifth. And that one hitting hard in that outside corner. Nice placement there by Jacob Greenberg. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. 1-2 delivery, a little high, and Jack Boyle apparently taking a liking to that high pitch. 1 down. Taking a look at the rest of the lineup. Brian Wong will bat 6th. David Vance at first base, batting 7th. Followed by Warren Bender, Sean Yates, Claudio Salvans. We'll also see action from Kalen O'Donnell and Alan Wong. So Daniel Schechter, the shortstop, batting left-handed. The umpire for this morning's game is Eric Ryan. And the base paths official is Charles Ellis. The 2-0 delivery, ball outside. So Jacob Greenberg, who had no problem fanning the first batter, looking for his control here against Daniel Schechter. So a little breeze in the air, the sun not quite coming out yet. But I'm fairly sure within 2 or 3 innings the sun will be blazing here in beautiful La Jolla, California. That one catching the inside corner, so Jacob Greenberg redeeming himself after throwing 3 straight balls, came back and threw 3 straight strikes. And that will sit Daniel Schechter down on strikes as well, and that brings up number 2, Ray Dis. Ray trying to help his own cause here right off the bat. Fisted that one down the first base line, so 3 up and 3 down for Sports Chalet. The Rockies coming up next. Leading things off in the bottom of the first for the Rockies is pitcher Jacob Greenberg. Takes the first pitch. Batting second is Kels Kopp. The first baseman, Josh Brower. The catcher batting third, Michael Roth. Second baseman batting cleanup. The second pitch coming in, ball in the dirt. Ray Dis getting the starting nod at the pitcher's position for Sports Chalet. Batting fifth is Mitchell John. He's a shortstop. Batting sixth is Jeff Cruzy. He's at first base. Batting seventh is Jonathan Ayers. He's in right field. Ball low once again by Ray Dis. Ayers is followed by Phil Dietz, Robert Hirschbein, Michael Berman, Max Spielberg, also seeing action today. So Jacob Greenberg getting the job done. Starts the ball game off here for the Rockies in the bottom of the first with a base on balls. And that brings up first baseman Kels Kopp. will play 6 innings here this morning. The steal immediately by Jacob Greenberg. And the catcher decides against throwing down, which was probably a good decision, as Jacob Greenberg getting a nice jump there on the pitcher Ray Diss. So the steal rule just incorporated here just recently in this Mustang League, as Greenberg steals third just as easily. That ball just getting away from the catcher, Will Trotter. But either way, Greenberg having that third base stolen fairly easily there. The throw over by Diss, not in time. The 12-run rule in effect, I should mention. If after 4 complete innings of play, one team is up by 12 or more runs, they'll end the game in the bottom of that particular inning. There is a ball game following this ball game, 1:30 this afternoon, so if this game goes into extra innings, they would probably play right up until that second game. Just throwing over once again. You're watching a George Langevin production presentation. If you'd like a copy of this sports presentation, strike just on the outside corner there. Nice placement by Ray Diss. But again, if you'd like a copy of this video presentation or any other sporting event brought your way via play-by-play, complete with a post-game show where we interview the players, give us a call at 549-9952. Ball in the dirt. And that will send Kells Kopp down to first. The second consecutive walk for Ray Diss, just trying to warm himself up here. We mentioned a little chilly in the air this morning. In baseball, not the most action-packed game as far as the players constantly running around, so it might take a few innings for the players to get a little bit warm. And the steal, as to no surprise, as Kells Kopp goes to second standing up. So no outs, runners on second and third. Josh Brower, the catcher, at the plate. Josh takes a nice cut at it. Foul backing away towards the catcher. That one just catching the hand of Will Trotter. And the coach comes out to see if he's all right. So apparently it didn't appear from this angle, but apparently that ball possibly catching the wrist of Josh Brower. And he'll reach first safely after being hit by the pitch. So no outs, bases chunked here. The Rockies looking for a big start here in the early going. Michael Roth, the second baseman, batting cleanup. Diss delivers a high pitch. The player is taking a liking to that high pitch we've noticed in doing a couple games in this Mustang League, right at the chest area. Apparently that's a very attractive area for a lot of these hitters. That one banging off the backstop. Diss covering up, but not in time. And the first run scorer for the Rockies, Jacob Greenberg, takes it across the plate. 1-0, the Rockies out in front of Sports Chalet as Kells Kopp moves to third base, and Josh Brower on the pass ball moves to second. Michael Roth still at the plate for the Rockies. So Ray Diss finding his control here in the last few pitches. Aside from the last pitch, of course, that got away, causing the run. But Ray, a confident player. And just after saying that, he sends Michael Roth down on strikes. So one down, one run has come across, runners on second and third. Brings up the shortstop, Mitchell John. Mitchell situated in the back portion of the box there. Really wants to get a good look at the ball as it comes in. A longer look, I should say. Does not hesitate to try to lift one out into the outfield. It has a fairly healthy cut there. Kind of tall and lanky in build. He can make contact, and the pass ball, and the slide, and they might have got him. They nail him at the plate. Kells Kopp just attempting to steal home, and that backstop working as a 10th defender, just ricocheting the ball back right to the catcher. And they were able to make the tag fairly easily. So 2 down, 1 run, the lone run in the ball game. Runners on, actually just 1 runner on third. On deck is Jeff Cruzy and Jonathan Ayers in the hole for the Rockies. Swing and a miss for strike 3, so that will do it. The Rockies not able to get any hits. They leave 1 stranded, but pick up a run at the end of 1 complete inning of play here just outside the La Jolla YMCA. It's the Rockies 1, Sports Chalet 0. Will Trotter to lead things off here in the top of the 2nd inning for Sports Chalet. First pitch ball outside by Jacob Greenberg, who remains on the mound here for the Rockies. So Sports Chalet brought 3 players to the plate in the 1st inning. 2 going down on strikes, and Ray Diss getting around a little bit late, grounded out to the first baseman. The Rockies coming up and able to score 1 run. So that's where we stand, 1-0. The 2nd inning just underway here. Nice pitch by Jacob Greenberg, just jamming Will Trotter on that inside pitch. And here comes the 1-1 delivery. Actually, that was 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And on the 3rd strike attempt, the ball was dropped by the catcher, so they throw down and get the first out. Brings up Scott Lacaze. On deck is Brian Wong and David Bance in the hole for Sports Chalet. Ball inside. So some of these players facing a pitcher for the first time in their little baseball careers here. Last year, if they played in the Pinto League, they actually had the pitching machine coming at them. So it's from one extreme to another as far as some players having plenty of experience, seeing the ball pitched at them, and then a few of the players probably not familiar with the pitcher coming at them at all. So quite a challenge for those seeing the ball pitched at them for the first time this year. But that's what it's all about, and you got to learn. George Langevin Production presents Trivia Time. We'll have that in a moment for you. We'll ask a trivia question and give an answer a couple innings down the road here. The first part of the trivia question for the players, and the second part for the parents. We'll have that in a moment. And Scott Lacaze starts things off here for Sports Chalet as he reaches safely. Scott Lacaze representing the first base runner for Chalet this morning. 1 down brings up Brian Wong. And the throw over, that one getting away from the first baseman. And Lacaze will take third, and the throw over, not in time, as Lacaze slides in safely. Showing great speed there on the base pass. He was going all the way, and Jacob Greenberg actually doing a nice job to pick off Lacaze. The throw just a little bit out of the way of the first baseman, that allowing Lacaze to circle second. Had that great speed. Got to third base fairly easily. It was an attempted tag there by Jeff Cruzy. But Lacaze, with that blazing speed, was already there. Have to like the way his body rose right up, too, after he slid. Looked like a major leaguer on that steal. One ball, 1 strike the count on Brian Wong. Fouls that one backing away towards the upper part of the backstop. Sets the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out, and Scott Lacaze safely at third, representing the tying run here. Ball high. Lacaze smartly holds up at third. The only way it appears that the runners will have half a chance to make it from third to home on a steal is if the ball bounds up against the backstop and kind of hangs there for a while and then comes down. Otherwise, it ricochets off that backboard, if you will, behind the catcher. So Brian Wong goes down on strikes. The pitcher's actually doing a nice job. That's 4 strikeouts in the ball game for Greenberg. Ray Diss striking out 2 himself in the first inning. That will bring up David Bance, the first baseman. Ball high and inside. Scott Lacaze taking a nice healthy lead off of third base. Just trying to distract the pitcher. Jacob Greenberg just facing the catcher, trying to put Lacaze out of his mind and just throw strikes here. A little behind in the count as he delivers. Ball outside, and that will send David Bance to first. So no hits in the ball game so far. Combination of strikes, or actually striking out, and base on balls here. 2 down, runners on the corners. David Bance stealing second. Puts the runners in scoring position for Warren Bender. On deck is Sean Yates. Claudio Salvons in the hole for Sports Chalet. And the steal, surprising everybody, and he's in there safely to tie up the ball game. So heads up base running by Scott Lacaze. What a play there. That was smart as the catcher threw back to the pitcher. Jacob Greenberg, the pitcher, really not aware that Scott might try to bravely steal home, but he does. So heads up play on the base paths and the early going here for Sports Chalet as they tie it up at 1 apiece, and that will do it. 1.5 innings of play. We're all tied up at 1. The Rockies coming up. Jeff Carusi leading things off here in the bottom of the second as he watches the first pitch low and outside. We're all tied up here at 1 apiece. Exciting Mustang League action coming your way all afternoon long. The sun still trying hard to break away from the clouds here, but it's early yet. This game getting started at 9 o'clock this morning. On deck is Jonathan Ayers and Phil Dietz in the hole for the Rockies. So George Langevin Production presents Trivia Time. We'll have that trivia question right after Ray delivers this pitch. That's a chopper right back to the mound, and Diss, as he's falling down, makes the throw in time. So a nice play there by Ray as the grass apparently a little slippery there. As he went to retrieve that one, his body flying to the ground, was able to recover and made the nice throw over. 1 up and 1 down. Jonathan Ayers, the batter. So the trivia question is, this past Thursday, May 13th, 1993, an active player, and of course a veteran, just became one of only 6 players to have at least 300 home runs and 3,000 hits. Name that player. Ball outside. 2 balls and no strikes, the count on Jonathan Ayers, the right fielder. And as we say the positions, keep in mind that the players throughout the ball game will switch positions. A lot of them might play 2, possibly 3 different positions throughout the duration of the game. Ball high by Ray. But again, the trivia question, which active player 2 days ago became one of only 6 players in modern day baseball to have at least 300 home runs and over 3,000 hits? So that the trivia question. And for the parents, the second part of that question is name 3 of the 5 other players that are also in that category. Name at least 3 out of the other 5, as this player that we're talking about became one of only 6. So Jonathan Ayers on first with a walk. 1 out brings up Phil Dietz. On deck is Robert Hirschbein and Michael Bierman. In the hole for the Rockies as Ray Dish throws over, but to no avail as Jonathan Ayers getting back easily, not really taking a threatening lead over there. Ray Dish just keeping him honest. We'll take a look in a little bit here at the standings here in the big leagues. Take a look at some of the home run and RBI leaders in the big leagues as well. Who's hitting the best for average? All these statistics coming your way here in a moment. On this day, May 15th, 1993. So Jonathan Ayers stealing second. Phil Dietz with 1 duck on the pond here. Looking for his first RBI of the ball game. We're all tied up at 1 apiece. Fairly low-scoring game thus far. And the chopper right back to the mound. Diss with it over. And Jonathan Ayers moves to third. So 2 outs. The Rockies threatening to score here for the second consecutive inning. Robert Hirschbein at the plate. Ayers with a small lead, but Diss throws over anyway. Ray just liking to keep the base runners honest here. Doesn't want anybody stealing home plate off him. And Ray just trying to use a little hip flexion there as opposed to going towards the plate. Just rotated his hips and tried to wing that one over to third. Not a bad idea. That one getting by the catcher once again, and scoring easily is Jonathan Ayers. That ball ricocheting on an angle as opposed to coming right back to the catcher, making it very difficult for both pitcher and catcher to track that one down, allowing Jonathan Ayers, although he slid in, to score fairly easily. Robert Hirschbein still at the plate here. One ball and 2 strikes the count on Hirschbein. Look to see him protect here. Hard to see whether he's choking up on the bat, but I'm sure he is, as that one just outside. Evens up the count at 2 apiece. On deck is Michael Bierman. The 2-2 delivery by Diss, high and inside. Will fill up the count. The Rockies out in front, 2-1. Ball high. Robert Hirschbein on with a walk. 2 down, one's come across, one runner on. Brings up Michael Bierman. Ball outside. It appeared that Robert Hirschbein had a notion to steal there as Dis released it. Appeared to be going. We'll see what happens on this pitch. As Dis lets it go, and the coach says go, and the player goes, and Hirschbein sliding in there safely. I could hear from here as the manager, Matt Brower, telling Robert to head out. He's in there safely for the stolen base. Michael Bierman at the plate for the Rockies. And the steal, and the second steal for Hirschbein. Steal second. I wasn't sure if he was going to go there as that one was thrown in the dirt and scooped up nicely by the catcher. But Robert Hirschbein moving on the pitch anyway. Good heads-up play there by Robert. Ray Dis doing a nice job. When the ball gets away from him, he's hustling in towards home plate as quick as he can, trying to avoid any type of steal by the Rockies as they have a 1-run lead here. We're in the bottom of the second. Ray Dis looking over to third, then delivers. Throws that one right down the pipe against Bierman. Fills up the count. So Ray throwing a lot of pitches this morning. Has to make this one count. Ball high and outside. Two down, 1 run has come across here in the second. Runners on the corners, timeout. Max Spielberg at the plate. A runner moving on the pitch. Michael Bierman with a stolen base. 2 down, 1 run has come across. Runners on second and third for Spielberg. Takes a nice big cut, just a little bit late on a swing. Brian O'Donnell, the manager for Sports Chalet, during that timeout a moment ago, just had to go out and speak with Ray Dis, try to calm him down a little bit. Ray, a talented player, just having a tough time this morning of finding his control as he would like. On deck is the leadoff batter for the Rockies, Jacob Greenberg, who scored a run and helping his own cause here this morning. The throw over to third, a little high. Scott Lacaze doing a nice job to jump up and snare that one. So his counterpart in number couldn't steal home. Another big cut, so a nice eye by Max Spielberg, having the right idea. Ball thrown right down the pipe for him, just a hair behind the pitch. Ball outside, and they're going to send him, but no. Does a nice job to get back. It appeared that Robert Hirschbein, after being sent home by his coach, and you can see the coach here on the screen saying, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't think the ball was going to ricochet back as quickly as it did. Of course, Robert seeing that and quickly getting back himself. They're going to send him this time. Slides in, and he's in there for the third run of the ball game for the Rockies. So a lot of the teams taking advantage of this new rule incorporated on the steals, kind of making it fun for all the players. The first pitch by Dis is down in the dirt, and the slide should be safe because Ray had his body turned back the other way, and that allowing Michael Bierman to score on the play. Four to 1, the Rockies out in front of Sports Chalet. Max Spielberg moves to second on the play, and a big cut there by Jacob Greenberg, not getting a hold of it. That one getting away from the catcher, and Max Spielberg is now at third after walking just a moment ago. Two outs. The Rockies have come across with 3 runs here in the bottom of the second. Max on third, and Jacob Greenberg, who started the first inning off with a walk and came in to score the first run of the ball game for the Rockies. Actually, the first run of the ball game completely, as Sports Chalet didn't get on the board until the second inning. So that's where we stand, 4-1. And the count is full on Jacob Greenberg. Strikes out, and the catcher throws down in time. And that will do it. 2 complete innings of play coming to a close, but not before the Rockies pick up 3 more runs. They're out in front of Sports Chalet 4-1. Mitchell John will come in to replace Jacob Greenberg on the mound for the Rockies. And Sean Yates will lead things off here in the top of the third for Sports Chalet, as the sun begins to shine here in the top of the third, coming out for the first time this morning. On deck is Claudio Salvans. Kalen O'Donnell in the hole for the Chalet squad. So Sports Chalet will have to have a comeback of their own here, as the Rockies picked up 3 runs in that last inning. Let's take a look at the standings in the big leagues. In the National League West, San Francisco, the Giants out in front. Actually got beat by the Padres last night. Greg Harris coming up with a big win for the Padres. Pitched a decent ball game. But they're out in front of Houston by 1 game. Out in front of Atlanta, they're 1.5 games back. The Cincinnati Reds, who have the biggest streak in the major leagues, they've won 5 in a row, thanks to the big hitting of Kevin Mitchell, who actually used to play for the Padres. Has been somewhat of a Padre killer this year, actually. Had a couple big home runs in the last game. So Sean Yates goes down on strikes. Brings up Claudio Salvans. First pitch outside by Mitchell John. But the Southern California teams, the Dodgers and Padres, 7 games back. They're back in the pack. Only out in front of 1 team, that the expansion Colorado Rockies. They're 10.5 games back. In the East, sporting the best percentage in the big leagues is Philadelphia, winning over 70% of their games. The Phillies are 5.5 games out in front of Montreal. St. Louis, 6.5 games back. We'll take a look at the American League in a moment, as John delivers, found back and away by Claudio. The Chicago White Sox leading the American League West. They're 2.5 games out in front of the California Angels. The Angels off to a nice start. Have to feel good about their productivity. A lot of young players getting the job done for them. And Claudio goes down on strikes. So Mitchell John coming into the game for Jacob Greenberg, doing a nice job. He's 2 for 2. Kalen O'Donnell, the batter. But J.T. Snow doing a nice job for California. Salmon, another great young player. Easley as well. The Texas Rangers are 3 games back. And in the National, or actually the American League East, Detroit, they're 2.5 games out in front of Boston. And New York is also 2.5 games back. Boston and New York tie for second in that division, which is surprising a lot of people. They didn't feel those teams would really be up in the rankings, but it is early yet. A lot of things can happen as Toronto is 3.5 games back. You know full well they can move up. So those are the standings in the big leagues on May 15th, 1993. We'll have a look at how some of the players are doing as well, production-wise. That one just catching the inside corner. A nice pitch there to Kalen O'Donnell, who's one of the smaller players in height on the field this morning. Very tough for Mitchell John to find that strike zone accurately. Ball high and outside, and that will send Kalen O'Donnell down to first safely. And that will bring up number 6, Alan Wong. Two down, one runner on for Allen. Strike, just catching the outside corner, it appeared. Mitchell John coming right into the game with great confidence, having no control problems whatsoever. Has that nice height and nice leverage as well. Could probably be somewhat intimidating for some of these batters that have never faced a pitcher. Alan Wong, one of the taller players in physically in stature. Good size kid, so probably not intimidated, but again, Mitchell John off to a nice start here for the Rockies. Kalen O'Donnell had a notion to steal, but that one ricocheting off the backboard, the wooden panel, if you will, situated just below the backstop. Kalen with about a 3 or 4 step lead. That one gets away from the catcher, and Kalen O'Donnell jogs into second. Sports Chalet with 1 run on the morning, looking to add to that. That one popped up to the pitcher, and that will do it. The Sports Chalet squad leave 1 on, were unable to pick up a run, and at the end of 2.5 innings of play, the Rockies 4, Sports Chalet 1. Jack Boyle will pitch to the Rockies here in the top of the 3rd. And Kels Kopp will lead things off for the Rockies. Ball outside. On deck is Josh Brower and Michael Roth in the hole. Ball outside. The 2-0 delivery outside as well. So it generally takes a batter or two for the pitchers to warm up. The only exception there was Mitchell John, who came into the ball game under control immediately. And Kels Kopp will reach safely for his 2nd consecutive time in the game. Kels, with a couple stolen bases in the 1st inning, was on his way to steal once again, but was caught at home trying to steal in that same inning. So Kels will look to get a run this time around, and they send him. The throw not in time, and Kels Kopp goes in standing up. So a lot of stolen bases this morning. Both of these teams are running teams. Bobby Bonds off to a sizzling start for the San Francisco Giants, is leading the major leagues in average with a .427 average, as Kels Kopp steals third. And his teammate Matt Williams leading the majors in home runs with a dozen. That one getting away from the catcher, but not far enough to warrant any type of steal attempt by Kels Kopp. Matt Williams finding himself in a comparable situation that Sheffield was last year. It's tough to pitch around Williams when you got Bonds and Will Clark, who really hasn't come alive yet this year, but you know he will. And Josh Brower is safe on first with a base on balls. So no outs, runners on the corners. Brings up Michael Roth. Josh Brower in safe with the steal. Runners on second and third. But Sheffield last year having that great success because he had Gwynn in the lineup. Fernandez, used to call them the four tops, along with McGriff. So you had to pitch to every one of these guys, and that's the case with Matt Williams. Andres Galarraga, who just recently went on the injured reserve list for Colorado. He's second in the league in batting with an average of .395. That one takes a one-hopper to the catcher. And Kels Kopp alertly hustles back to third. Jose Vizcaino for Chicago batting .375. And Merced for Pittsburgh batting .368. Blauser for Atlanta also batting over .360. Tony Gwynn down there in 10th place batting .342. But again, we all know that is subject to change, as Kopp had a notion to go down and hustle back so he wouldn't get caught in the hot box. So Michael Roth with a walk as well. So no outs, bases are loaded, and a timeout is called by Sports Chalet. Mitchell John with the bases loaded here. His team out in front by 3 runs, but he could extend it here. Has RBI time written all over his face, feeling confident after a nice, productive inning of pitching. Such a big swing there by Mitchell that he actually went to the ground on one knee there. His momentum taking him forward. Almost lost his balance. So he's going for the big hit here. Ball outside. Other players in the National League off to a nice start. Dave Justice for Atlanta has 9 homers. Hayes for Colorado has 8. Barry Bonds has 8 as well. And that one smacked right up the middle and gets free. That will score at least 1 run. The second run coming in. And a 2-run double by Mitchell John. As Kels Kopp scored easily and Josh Brower came around to score as well. 6-1 the score as Michael Roth moves to third. Mitchell John standing on second. Possible hot box as he slides in, and Roth is safe. Andres Galarraga for Colorado also up there in RBIs, leading the league with 33. Mark Grace for the Chicago Cubs has 31 ribbies. Matt Williams leading the league in homers, we mentioned a moment ago, has 31 ribbies as well. Barry Bonds with 31. What an amazing start he's having. A high chopper up the middle. Shortstop comes over, makes the throw over, and they get him. But not before 2 more runs come across for the Rockies. So the by Jeff Cruzy brings in a couple runs there. Eight to 1, the Rockies extending their lead here. Brings up Jonathan Ayers. Jonathan walked in the second inning, came around to score. So Mitchell John with the first hit of the ball game, actually, first clean hit. We mentioned earlier a lot of walks and a lot of strikeouts in this ball game. On deck is Phil Dietz and Robert Hirschbein in the hole as Jonathan Ayers walks. Daniel Schechter will come in and pitch for Sports Chalet. Their third pitcher this morning. He'll move over from the shortstop position. So he has a good arm. Shortstop has to have that type of range to gun the ball over to first from deep in the pocket. So Daniel Schechter on the mound for Sports Chalet. Phil Dietz at the plate. The steal is on. The throw is down. And not in time on the one hop. Jonathan Ayers stealing second. So nobody out. 4 runs have come across, and the steal is on once again. The throw down, not in time. So Jonathan Ayers, who reached on a base on balls in the second inning, came all the way around to score, is at it once again as he's stolen second and third. Ball inside to Dietz. Let's take a look at the American League. Olerud for Toronto. Off to a strong start, batting .398. And get this, Kurt Gibson for Detroit batting .394. And that one hit sharply to the shortstop, who scoops it up and makes the throw, and he's safe. It seemed close. I thought they were going to get him by a hair there. A nice strong throw over by Jack Boyle. Made a nice throw, and another run comes in. Jonathan Ayers was able to come across, and Phil Dietz safely on first with an infield hit, the second hit of the inning for the Rockies. Robert Hirschbein at the plate, and Phil Dietz stealing second. Nine to 1 is the score. The high throw, and Phil Dietz should score, and he does, standing up. So as Phil stole third, the throw coming from the catcher over the head of Scott Lacaze going out into left field and allowing Phil Dietz to come across with the 10th run of the ball game for the Rockies. They can keep things going here. This game may end early on the 12-run rule. Still no outs here. Hirschbein walks. Michael Bierman at the plate, and Hirschbein still second. On deck is Max Spielberg, and they have to call a balk here against pitcher Daniel Schechter. As he went into his motion, the third baseman Scott Lacaze just trying to bring to Daniel's attention that the runner was leading too far off of second, and it might be in his best interest to try to pick him off. And that one just making Daniel hesitate somewhat. Legally would be called a balk, but the base paths umpire, Charles Ellis, just telling the player what he did so that he doesn't do it the next time. So the player's obviously just learning a lot about different facets of the game. As a catcher comes out of the box to tag Michael Bierman. Heads up play by Robert Hurspine as he steals home.
Strikeout, and then catch a run after the batter, and then the runner came home.
So Michael Bierman goes down on strikes. Was eventually flagged down by the catcher as he was able to field it cleanly. Max Spielberg at the plate for the Rockies. On deck is Jacob Greenberg. Max getting around late, fouls it down the first base side. Crossed in this inning. Swing and a miss for strike one. Actually make that strike two as he fouled the first one away. And strike three. The catcher holding on. That should do it. He swung at that. That should end the inning. That should be 3 outs. The players and managers hesitating here. Cruzy was out on the... And Michael Bierman went down on strikes, and now Max goes down on strikes. So that will do it. 3 complete innings of play coming to a close, but the Rockies, on a couple of hits, pick up 7 runs and go well out in front of Sports Chalet. 11-1. Jack Boyle leading things off here in the top of the 4th. It always seems that when a player makes a good play in the field, he almost always ends up leading off an inning. And Boyle, we mentioned making that nice play at the shortstop position, had to move quickly from his right to his left to get his glove on it, and then made the strong throw over. Looked like he just got the runner in the nick of time. But apparently Charles Ellis, the umpire, not seeing it that way. In his eyes, he said, hey, tie goes to the runner. Either way, the Rockies having a big, big inning. The answer to your trivia question coming your way this inning. This inning may very well become the final inning. The 12-run rule could become in effect. The Rockies with a 10-run lead here. On deck is Daniel Schechter and Ray Diss in the hole for Sports Chalet. Juan Gonzalez is leading the American League in home runs with 11. Albert Bell for Cleveland and Carter for Toronto, I should say, also with 11. So those 3 players leading the American League in homers. The RBI leader is Albert Bell with 34. Also leading the major leagues as Andres Galarraga, we mentioned earlier, has 33 in the National League. Strong cut by Jack Boyle. Jose Canseco right up there in RBIs as well, with over 30 ribbies on the year. Jack Boyle goes down on strikes. Brings up Daniel Schechter. Mitchell John really doing a great job on the mound for the Rockies. As he lets go, has that winding motion. 2 balls and no strikes, the count on Daniel Schechter. Schechter chops it back to the mound. Mitchell John with an easy throw over. 2 up and 2 down so far. Brings up Ray Diss. as Ray takes the first pitch. So again, the trivia question. Which player on just this past Thursday, May 13th, 1993, became only one of 6 players total in modern-day Major League Baseball to have at least 300 home runs and 3,000 hits? Which player did that? That one hit sharply right down the line at third. The throw over, and the throw just a little bit wide there by Jeff Cruzy. But again, you have to give him credit just for keeping that one in the infield. That one, if you're scoring this, could probably give a base hit on that one. Call it a little too hot to handle, or you could call it a throwing error. Either way, Ray Diss hits the ball sharply and finds himself safely at second. First baseman for the Rockies making a nice play, just trying to get over, but just not in time. Diss stealing third, the throw down, and Diss will score on the pass ball. The throw just a little bit low by the catcher. Josh Brower just trying to make a low throw there to Cruzy. That one bouncing up over his glove and allowing Ray Diss to score on the play. 11-2. Slow roller to the pitcher. Mitchell John guns him down. So Sports Chalet brings 4 players to the plate. Pick up 1 run as Ray Diss comes around to score. The Rockies coming up. They're out in front 11-2. Jacob Greenberg leading things off in the bottom of the 4th for the Rockies. That one drilled just foul here down the third base side. If Jacob gets that bat around just a half a second earlier, that one's belted out to left field and has extra base hits written all over it. So Jacob Greenberg getting the most aluminum on the ball than any other player this afternoon. His teammate Mitchell John, the 2-run double earlier. The only player with an extra base hit on the afternoon, or I should say the morning. Gradually becoming afternoon here. This ball game started at 9 o'clock this morning. If the Rockies can pick up 3 runs this inning, they'll win on the 12-run rule. They're out in front 11-2. So the answer to the trivia question coming your way, and again, I'm going to restate it to give you one last opportunity, but what player became one of only 6 players to have at least 300 home runs and 3,000 hits? And for the parents, there's 5 other players now in that same category. See if you can name 3 of those. Right after Jacob Greenberg's at bat, we'll give you the answer. Jacob scoring 1 run this morning. Went down on strikes in the 2nd inning. And that one just catching the outside corner and stunning Jacob. So 1 up and 1 down for the Rockies brings up Kels Kopp. So here's the answer to the trivia question. It is George Brett for the Kansas City Royals. He's had a long and illustrious career. Just this past Thursday night, belted his 300th home run. Already had 3,000 hits. And there's 5 players that are in that same category. And I'm going to name them here in just a second as the pitch is inside. Has Kels Kopp jumping away. Let's see if you were able to get at least 3 of these. Hank Aaron, Stan Musial, Carl Yastrzemski, Willie Mays, and Al Kaline. So congratulations to you if you answered the trivia question correctly. Kels Kopp wallops that one out into center field and drops in for a base hit. So Kels really getting a hold of that one. That one lifting up in the air, catching a little bit of the air. A little breeze going here. The center fielder just not able to come over and have any type of chance for a catch. So Kels Kopp with a nice base hit. Steals second as well. Josh Brower, who walked his last time up, came around to score a run. The Rockies looking for a one-out rally here. Again, if they can pick up 3 runs, they can end it here in 4 complete innings. The steal. Daniel Spector just trying to catch that inside corner. That one getting away from everybody and allowing Kels Kopp to move to third. On deck is Michael Roth and Mitchell John. The talented pitcher is in the hole. Josh Brower walks again. So 1 down, runners on the corners here for the Rockies. Michael Roth, who reached on a walk and came around to score a run in the 3rd inning, is at the plate for the Rockies. Ball high and inside. In other sports action, in basketball, a lot of parity this year in the NBA. Seattle in the Western Conference, they hold a 2-0 lead over Houston as that one is fouled away by Michael Roth. Also in the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns are 2-0 out in front of San Antonio here in the semifinals. And in the Eastern Conference, New York 2-1 out in front of Charlotte as that one is hit slowly to the second baseman who picks it up, and by the time he finally gets a grasp and throws over, it just wasn't in time. So Michael Roth safely at first, and Kels Kopp comes in for a run. And actually Michael Roth coming around to score as well. So 13-2 the score. If the Rockies can pick up one more run, and that one hit high out to left field, and getting over the head of the left fielder, dropping in for a base hit, was Mitchell John, 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Hitting the ball into the outfield both times. But just to finish up NBA action in the Eastern Finals as well, Chicago out in front 2-0 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So again, the exciting basketball action going. That one banged out to right field, and on a one-hopper goes up against the fence, and this should do it as Mitchell John comes around, and will he score? He's safe, and that should do it. That should be enough runs to wrap up the ball game here for the Rockies. On the 12-run rule, the Rockies do it. Pick up a few more runs here, actually pick up at least 4 or 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Let's tally them up here. 15 runs total unofficially. They win 15-2 over Sports Chalet. So a great offensive output this morning by the Rockies. I'm Mike Benson for George Langevin Productions. We'll be back in a moment for the post-game show and have a chance to interview some of the players and find out their thoughts on this ball game, some of the ball games on the season, and maybe some other sports and other things that they're doing in their lives at this time. Stay tuned for that. Okay, we are back for the post-game show. The Rockies come away with a big win over Sports Chalet by a score of 15-2. We're going to talk to all the players that made it possible. We're going to start with yourself. Let's have you introduce yourself and tell us what position you played first.
Josh Brower and catcher.
Okay. I think, first of all, Josh, is there a part of today's game that sticks out in your mind was the best part for you?
Well, sort of like when I dropped the ball and I tagged him with 3rd strike drop. I just fell. good.
There you go. You redeemed yourself on that one. Okay, think back. You guys have had a lot of wins. You've won at least 7 or so games on the season. Is there a game that sticks out in your mind on this season that was your best game individually you can talk to us about?
Well, my favorite game was probably against the Reds, but we tied 1-1 because they're just a good team, and so are we. So.
Was the game special to you because it was such a close score? Did you do anything in the game that you liked yourself?
Well, I hit a ground roll double, and I was proud of myself.
Heck yeah, I'd be very proud of that. Talk to me about that hit. Where did it go?
Well, you see that fence? It bounced in and then ran past that fence into then ground roll double.
Beautiful. Had to feel
Could
great.
have had a inside the park homer, but it was a ground roll double.
That's all right. Had to feel great about that. Now, are you going to play some other sports after baseball's over?
Yeah, soccer. Yeah.
What position you play?
Center forward, probably.
Okay. Like to be on the scoring end. What about basketball? You said you play guard or forward, or what do you like to do?
Pretty much forward, yeah.
Okay.
Forward.
And how's school going for you? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has a favorite class, and we have a class that we kind of dread. What are your best and your worst?
My worst is music,
Okay.
and my favorite's PE,
Okay.
or recess.
What's the most fun thing they have you guys doing in PE?
Maybe capture the flag. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat. What's your specialty in capture the flag? What do you do the best at?
Scoring.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us. Good game. All right. We'll get your name and what position you play today.
My name's Mitchell John, and I play pitcher.
Let me ask you this. As soon as you came into the game to pitch, you struck out a couple batters. Did you feel confident right away, or were you a little bit nervous before you got in there and threw your first pitch? What was going on in your mind?
Just tried to strike as many batters as possible out.
Okay. So you felt pretty confident the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. What about at the plate? You had a couple hits. Which one was your favorite one?
My last one, probably. I got a single, but I drove in a run.
Great. Okay. Think back. We're going to ask the players because you guys have had a good season. Won more than half your games, and I think that's great. Talk to me about a game on the season that sticks out in your mind where maybe you might have an extra base hit or maybe even pitched a better game. Talk to me about that.
Last game, probably, because I had an inside the park home run, and we won 34-17.
Wow, like a football score. Okay, talk to me about the hit. How did it come about? What was the count? Do you remember all that?
The count, I think, was 0-2.
Yeah.
And it was a little high, and I swung at it, and it went to center field.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because you have such good composure on the mound. Does the coach, because of your young ages, not want you guys throwing any curveballs yet? How does that go? I mean, you probably want to throw them, but would the coaches prefer you not at this early point in your careers?
Well, we're not allowed to throw curveballs in this league, and if we could, I really want to throw them because of my arm.
Okay. So you feel you're ready to, but you have to wait?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What are you going to do next? You're a good athlete. You going to play some other sports?
Yeah, football.
All right.
And position quarterback, probably. That's about it.
Okay. So you haven't played organized yet. You've just been playing, just fooling around with your friends and stuff. When do you think will be the first time you play organized football?
This summer.
Okay. Just offense? You going to consider playing any defense at all?
Maybe defense, cornerback.
Great. Okay. And how's school going for you?
Good.
All right. Favorite subjects for you?
Math's my favorite, and science is my worst.
Okay. What do they have you doing for math? How far along you guys? You guys pass multiplications and long division, that type of thing?
Yeah,
How far?
Adding and multiplying fractions.
Okay, we'll do well on that. And for science, they have you doing any science projects yet at all?
We had some worms in our science class. That's about it.
You get some worms in the class?
Yeah.
Did you do an experiment with them, or they were just there?
We didn't really do anything. We just observed them.
Yeah. Okay, well, keep doing well in school and keep playing ball. Thanks for joining us. All right. All right, we'll just keep it rolling. We'll get your name and what position you played.
My name's Michael Roth, and I play second base.
Okay. Michael, talk about this game first. Favorite part of the game for you?
When I got a hit.
Okay, talk to me about the hit, because you guys have to feel great about that. You had scored 15 runs in this game. That's excellent.
Well, it's the first hit of the game for me, and it's a close play.
Okay. All right, what about on the whole season? Everyone, when you think back, you always have a favorite game where you go home and say, hey, Mom, Dad, this was my best game. What was your best game on the whole year?
Our last game, 34-17.
Okay. Because you scored so many runs, or did you get a chance to score any runs yourself?
Yeah, I scored a lot. And
Did
I
you?
also got to change my batting order. I was second instead of fourth.
Would you prefer to be second?
I don't know.
Sound like they won just the big cleanup hitter today, huh? Okay. What are you going to do next for other sports?
Soccer.
Are you? When it comes to soccer, do you play more on the offensive end? You like being back there defense or goalie? What position you play?
I mostly play goalie.
Do you? Okay. What, out of all the saves you've ever had to make, what was probably the most creative save? You ever have to jump up and lift your body off the ground at all to make a save or dive or anything like that? What was probably the best or most favorite? Talk to me about the dive you made.
Well, the ball was going right for the corner. I dived for it, and I got it.
Great. Okay. Felt good. What do you do for hobbies? If you're not playing sports and you want to just relax, do you collect any sporting cards, or
Baseball cards.
which cards do you have?
I got a Gary Sheffield autograph.
Yeah. Beautiful. You autographed it last year while I was playing? Had that great season?
Well, no, I just got it at a baseball card shop.
Okay. Okay.
And I also got Raleigh Fingers autograph.
Good. Okay. And what about a card that you don't have that you would love to get in the near future?
Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle.
There you go. Can't blame you for that. Okay. All right. Good job. All right. We'll get your name. What position you play today?
Hi, I'm Jeff Crucy, and I play third base.
Okay. Probably don't have to ask you your favorite part of the game, but I'm going to ask you. I think it was probably the hit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you hit it, at first I thought it was going to go over because you hit it so hard, but then the second thing I thought it was going to bounce over. What was going through your mind as it was leaving the bat?
Well, I was just running in. I thought it went over, so I was just running as hard as I could.
Yeah.
And I did, so it just stopped, and I realized it was at my second base, so I just went back.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. With your good size and athletic ability, are there some other games on the season where you had some extra base hits that you can talk to us about?
Well, I've hit the ball close to going over the fence a couple times. And I really hit them hard sometimes.
Yeah. Is that like a goal for you to try to maybe one day this year lift one over the fence? Because you have the power to do it. It's going to happen. You just have to be patient. Have you thought about it? Is that in your mind, though, each day?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really on my mind.
All right. Now, what's going to be some other sports for you after you play baseball? Because you're a good athlete with good size.
Maybe football.
Okay.
Football, tennis.
Okay.
And
Let's talk first about football, then we'll talk about tennis. Mitchell had mentioned that he plays quarterback. What would be a good position for you, or maybe a favorite, do you think?
lineman.
Yeah. I can see that with your size. Just move them out of there and help the running backs get good yardage. What about tennis? Is a favorite part of the game for you just keeping a volley going? Is your strong point backhands, forward hands, serve? What's your specialty when it comes to tennis?
I like forehands.
Do you?
Yeah. I like to hit it hard and just get them out of there real quick.
There you go. Exactly. Go for the big slam. Okay. What about hobbies for you? I mean, some guys like to listen to music or watch TV shows or collect things or rollerblade. What are some of the fun things you like to do when you're not playing ball?
I like to rollerblade. I collect stamps. I collect cards, baseball cards.
Okay.
I collect coins, and I collect famous people's autographs.
Do you? Who's the most famous person you have so far? Maybe name a couple of them that you have.
Michael Jordan.
Really? How'd you get that?
Well, my mom used to live in Chicago,
Yeah.
and then I told her I wanted his autograph, so she gave me the address for the court, and
Yeah.
so I just sent it to the court,
Okay.
sending a letter to Michael Jordan, and they give it to him, and then they just returned it to me, and then he gave me a picture and an autograph.
Great. You must have been psyched when you got that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, what about stamps? When it comes to stamps, what type of stamps do you collect? Do you try to collect them that look creative, or how do you go about that?
I go by the old ones, old
Okay.
American ones.
I got you.
Okay. I have a lot of them. I got 2 boxes full of them.
Beautiful.
Old ones. I just like to collect them for fun. We used to do that in my class. So teacher would give us stamps if we were good. And so he just gives us stamps, and I would collect them.
Okay.
And just keep them.
Yeah. Okay. And one last thing, what's probably the favorite thing you ever did on your skates? Most creative thing?
Skates. Go off my friend's ramp.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Well-rounded guy. Thanks for joining us. Okay. All right, buddy. We'll get your name and what positions you played today.
My name's Robert Hirschbein, and I played left field and right field.
Okay, let me ask you this. It seemed like every time you got on base, you were running. You were stealing a lot of bases. Is that a big part of the game for you? Do you really enjoy stealing bases?
Yeah.
Okay. What about today's game in general? Is there a part of the game that sticks out in your mind that was your favorite?
Yeah, the time that I stole home, and it was a really close play.
And what was going through your mind? Because you have to be careful in this field because the ball ricochets off that back board and just comes right back to the catcher sometimes. So what was going through your mind before you stole?
I don't know, I thought I should just go and try my best to slide and get to home.
You did it.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there, everyone's been talking about a favorite game on the season, like one game you guys scored like 20 or 30 runs or something like 34 runs. Was that your favorite game, or was there another game on the season that was your favorite aside from today?
I wasn't even there at the game, but I don't really have a favorite game.
Okay. Just every game you enjoy being at, right? Okay, what are you going to do for other sports after baseball?
I'm going to do football and soccer.
Okay. Out of football and soccer, and baseball, what probably is your favorite sport of all time?
Football and baseball.
Do you like them the most? Football, what position you want to play?
Running back.
Yeah? Okay. What type of runner do you think you want to be? You want to be like a kind of guy that tries to run straight ahead for power? Do you like to try to just fake people out? What do you like to do? What's your style?
I like to fake people out.
Okay. Have you got a chance to play organized ball yet?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Looking forward to that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And soccer, what position you play?
Center midfield.
Okay. Good. Because you have to kind of cover the whole field, don't you?
Yeah.
With that position. Okay. How's school making out for you?
Good.
All right. Favorite classes for you?
Math, and my worst class is English.
Okay. What do they have you do in English that makes it kind of tough? Is it the grammar part? Are they having you do some writing? What are they having you do?
I don't like the spelling, and I don't like the vowels, the whole thing about vowels.
Okay. The way you get better at that is to obviously do your homework all the time and stuff like that. Okay, what are some of the fun things you do? Asking some of your teammates, when you're not playing sports, everyone has like hobbies they enjoy. What do you like to do for fun?
Collect stamps, collect baseball cards. I also like to go outside a lot and play handball.
Yeah. So a couple stamp collectors on your team. What's the best card you have for baseball?
I'd say my Robin Yunt rookie.
Okay. Good one to have. Future Hall of Famer. Okay, and everyone that collects cards always has one that they don't have, but they'd like to get. What have you given some thought to getting?
Mickey Mantle.
Okay.
And also the whole collection of the Braves in 1941.
Good. Okay, well, good luck to you in getting them. And good game. All right. All right, as we keep it rolling, we'll get your name and what position you played today.
I'm Max Spielberg, and I played right field and left field.
Okay. All right, Max, again, one of the players, like a lot of your teammates today, that were just running wild on those bases today. Is that enjoyable to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me ask you, favorite part of the game today for you?
When I stole second.
Okay. What was going through your mind before you took off? Did you just know as soon as the pitcher let it go that you wanted to go, or did you kind of wait to see what the catcher did? What were you thinking?
I just knew I was going to steal on the first pitch.
Yeah, it makes you feel good because you guys all have good speed. You guys are a good running team. Is there a favorite game on the season for you? Everyone always has a favorite game. What was your best?
I liked the Reds game.
Okay. Go ahead.
When we were playing the Reds. It was 1-1.
Wow. So that was a close scoring game. Is that what made it fun for you? Is that it was so evenly matched, or did you do something that game you'd like to talk to us about?
I just liked it because it was evenly matched.
Okay. And what are you going to do next for other sports? Asking all your teammates what other sports you guys play, because you guys are all good athletes.
I'm going to play soccer.
Did you play last year for an organized team?
No.
So this year will be your first year.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you going to play in a position that the coach probably thinks you're best at, or do you know exactly where you want to play?
I want to play goalie.
Okay. What is it about goalie that really interests you?
I like stopping balls a lot and stuff.
Exactly. You got to be real agile playing that. And what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies?
I like to collect baseball cards and baseball stamps and rollerblade.
Yeah? Talk to me about some of your baseball stamps that you have. What are some of your favorite ones?
Well, I like to, my favorite one is probably my Lou Gehrig stamp.
Okay. What does it look like?
It's green with his face on it and him batting.
Oh, he is batting. Okay. All right. What about cards? What are your favorite cards? Everyone has a card or two that are their favorite in their collection. What are your favorites?
Probably my 92 Kirby Puckett and my 81 Ricky Henderson.
Great. You guys all have good cards. And which ones do you want to get?
I want to get a Mickey Mantle card and Rick Henderson rookie.
Good. Okay. Well, I hope that works out for you. And thanks for joining us there, Big Max. All right, who's next? We're going to talk to all you guys. Okay. All right. What's your name? What position you play today?
Center field, and my name's Michael Bierman.
Okay. Let me ask you, Michael, because I was asking all the teammates of yours today what your favorite part of the game was today, because it's such a good game for you guys.
I liked when we scored all those runs and Mitch got that hit.
Yeah, okay. So you're kind of unselfish. You want to talk about your teammates. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about yourself, like maybe on the year, a good game that sticks out in your mind that was your favorite, or maybe today's game?
The Cincinnati, a 1-1 game. I like that because I made an awesome catch. I dove.
Talk to me about it.
Well, I dove. I was on my knees and I caught it.
What position were you playing, and how did the ball come out to you?
Center field, and it was a line drive.
Wow. That's great. Must have made you feel good. As soon as it came at you, sometimes you get a little bit nervous. I mean, did you feel confident as soon as it came that you could just snare it out of the air, or did you feel a little bit nervous at first and then came out with a great catch?
I felt a little bit nervous.
That's only natural, but you made the catch. Good for you. Okay, what are you going to do next? What's next for sports after baseball? I know you still got a little bit of a season left here, but what are you going to do?
Winter baseball and soccer.
Okay, great. So you play baseball almost all year round, and then soccer is a good sport to play to keep yourself in shape for baseball. What do you play in soccer? What position?
I play right middle and left wing.
Okay, good. So you play a variety of positions in soccer too. Did you play last year on a team?
Yeah, I played. I played with the best team. I always play with the best teams. I don't know why. They just pick me.
Well, maybe your talent adds to it and helps them be better. But what was the name of the team? Do you remember?
I think it was like the Hornets or something like that.
Okay. Are you going to be on the same team this coming year, or you might switch?
I don't know. They just picked me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Asking everybody what they do when they're not playing sports. And a lot of people like to do so many different things. What are your fun things? You maybe have brothers and sisters at home you do fun things with, or what are your hobbies?
I collect baseball cards, and I got a Babe Ruth card that my dad's got, and I got a Hank Aaron that my dad got too. He got it, but he grabbed it out of this fire, so really, and then all the other ones burnt up.
It's okay. That makes it even more special. But when you're not collecting cards, any other fun things you do?
Well, I usually go out and play with my friends and all that stuff. I don't really do anything.
Play like tag and stuff like that?
Something like that.
All right. You doing okay in school?
Yeah.
All right. Best classes and worst ones?
I hate math, and my best class is recess.
Okay. What do they have you doing in recess? All different types of fun things like dodgeball and different sports? What's the most fun things you ever do?
I usually play soccer.
Great. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us. You take it easy. Okay. All right. We'll get your name and what position you played.
Philip, and I play usually left field.
Okay. Favorite part of the game for you on this big victory?
Well, when I had an RBI and infield single.
Okay. Talk to me about the hit. What was going through your mind as the ball was coming in, and where'd you hit it?
Well, I think I hit it between the pitcher and the foul line.
Okay.
The third base foul line, and I thought he was going to nail me at first, but I just beat the throw by maybe half a step.
Yeah. That's a good sign that you said that you think that you hit it in a certain place, because as soon as you make contact, boom, you got to start heading down the line as fast as you can. So that's smart that you did that. And then obviously as you make the turn, maybe start thinking about where the ball's going after that. So that's great. Or obviously trying to beat out an infield hit, you just have to tear down that line. But best game on the whole season for you?
I think our first game where I think I had a triple, double, and a walk.
Wow.
And then on, I haven't been doing so well, but
yeah. That's okay. The team is doing good, and you guys will come along. Everyone goes through like little hitting slumps, but it almost hit for the cycle that day, so that's great. What's next for you for other sports after baseball?
Well, actually, I'm not. I usually just play baseball at school. I might play basketball or soccer, but I probably won't play on a real team.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you watch the Major League athletes play, like Major League Baseball or other sports, who are some of your favorite athletes of all time?
All time, maybe Nolan Ryan or something,
Okay.
or Willie Mays. I've heard of some really good athletes, but of all time, I don't have one, but, you know, right now, I do.
Well, who's your favorite right now that you like that's playing right now?
I think Roberto Alomar.
Okay. All right. He's a good one. And fun things for you. Everyone has a hobby when they're not playing sports. Like to just, you ever do anything at home that's just relaxing for you that you really enjoy doing?
Yeah, I sort out my baseball cards, which my mom hates seeing them on the floor where they always are, so I just started putting them in sets yesterday, or 2 days ago, something like that.
Okay.
And so now she's happy.
Good. Cleaning things up a little bit. All right. And you doing okay in school?
Yeah, I'd say so. My class, I think, I don't like my class too much, but I think I'm doing okay.
Okay. You guys just basically go to one class and then you do a variety of subjects in that one class, or you guys bop around from teacher to teacher? How does that work in school right now?
Well, if we have art or music, we'll go to a music room or an art room or a computer room. But usually we do the math and science usually in the class. And
How does it feel playing on such a talented team?
well,
A lot of good
the last few years, I've been playing for 3 years,
Yeah.
and the last few years I've been on 1 third-place team and 2 first-place teams. So I'm sort of used to it.
Okay, well, keep it going. Thanks for joining us there, Philip. All right, big guy, we get your name, what position you played.
Jonathan Veneers. I play center, right, and left field, sometimes third base.
Okay. If you had your choice out of all those positions, what would you pick, probably? The coach said you have your choice.
Center field and third base.
Okay. Well, again, that's 2 positions. So do you have one favorite?
Probably third base.
Okay. What is it about that position? Is it kind of a challenge because they call it the, you know, the hot corner?
You like fix and stealing. I like that.
There you go. A little more action at third base. Okay. What was your favorite game on the whole year and why?
The one we played, the one 2 games ago, we won 34-17 because I got a ground rule double, 2 doubles, and a single, and I got a hit every time unless I got walked.
Wow. Must have felt good making contact every time you got up to bat like that. That's great. And with your size and athletic ability, I'm sure you're going to use that to benefit you in other sports, right? What are you going to do after baseball?
Well, before baseball, I played basketball, and then played soccer, tennis, and swimming.
Wow. A lot of different sports. That's great. When it comes to swimming now, is your favorite thing to do like the front crawl? Do you like to do a backstroke or butterfly, side stroke? What's your favorite?
I like crawl.
Okay. Do you see yourself one day maybe competing like on a high school level in swimming or anything like that? What do you think?
Usually, I used to see it that way, but now I see it like on tennis because I've improved a lot. So I think now I see it on tennis.
Yeah. Okay. What do you like most about the tennis game? What part is the best part of the game for you?
When the game's real close and like really counts.
There you go. Brings out that competitive nature in you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. School going okay for you too?
Yeah.
All right. What are favorite classes and worst ones for you?
Math, science, are my favorite, and with all the book stuff, phonics and spelling and all that stuff, I don't like that.
Okay. All right. We'll try to always do well on the ones that are a challenge for you. Every year it seems like they give you a science project. Did you guys do one yet at all?
Yeah, we're doing one at the end of the year.
What are they going to have you do?
Oh, well, you get to pick your science experiment.
Have you given any thought as to what you might do?
Yeah, maybe something about crystals, I don't know.
All right. Okay. Keep doing well in school and keep playing ball. Thanks for joining us. And we'll keep it rolling with your name and what position you played.
Well, my name is Kels Kopp, and I play first base.
Okay. Again, Kels, first of all, you had a nice hit. I'm going to have you tell us about that. And on the bases, you were running wild all day long, so you had a good game. What was the best part of the game for you?
Well, probably my last hit.
Okay. Talk to us about the hit. When the pitch was coming your way, what was going through your mind? And where'd you want to hit it?
I was thinking if it was a good pitch, I wanted to swing and hit it over center field between left and center, and that's what I did.
Yeah, so you really got around on it and pulled it, and it was a nice hit. Got up in the air and just fell in nicely. Is there a favorite game on the year for you? Everyone has a favorite. Aside from this one, maybe this was a great game for you, but is there another game that you played well?
Yeah, our practice game, I had the practice game. I can't remember what game it was, but I had a bases-loaded triple.
Nice. Wow, where did you hit it?
Right field.
Yes, that's a good place to place it. That gives you plenty of room to run around the bases like that. Okay, you're a good athlete. I'm sure you're going to do some other sports after baseball. What's next for you?
Probably basketball and tennis.
Okay. When it comes to basketball, do you like to be like the point guard to set things up, or do you like to be a shooting guard? What's probably the best part of the game for you?
Forward.
Oh, you play forward. You like to rebound then and shoot from the corners?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what's fun things for you? All of your teammates have a lot of different hobbies, do a lot of different things. Stamp collecting baseball cards and rollerblading and a lot of different things. What do you do for fun?
Well, I have a tennis court in my backyard, so I play tennis a lot.
Okay.
And I collect baseball cards.
Good, okay. Out of the cards, which one do you have that you really, really are so happy that you do have?
Well, Probably one of those Desert Shield cards. It's the Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah.
My aunt sent it to me for Christmas.
Beautiful. Okay. Is there one that you've been looking forward to getting one day?
Mickey Mantle and Honest Wagner.
Great. Okay. Well, hey, Honus Wagner, that would be a tough one. I think you have to go
Yeah.
see Wayne Gretzky, don't you?
I know.
Okay. All right. And again, how does it feel playing with a bunch of teammates that really know how to play baseball real well?
Feels good. Yeah.
Okay. School going okay for you too?
Yeah.
You talk.
Not too fun.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's not the most fun thing, but you have to do well. What class gives you the most problems, the most of a challenge? Like for me, it was social studies. That was always tough for me, but I like spelling and writing. So what are your favorites and dislikes?
My favorites are science and spelling,
Okay.
and I kind of like math.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Good game, and have a good rest of the season. All right. All right, we're going to bring you. Okay. All righty. We'll get your name, what position you play.
Hi, I'm Jacob Greenberg, and I played pitcher and shortstop.
Okay, yeah, you did a nice job. We talked about how you were helping your own cause out there. Really were good on the mound and at the plate as well. What was the best part of the game for you?
Well, when I pitched.
Okay. Let me ask you this. At the beginning of the game, what goes through your mind? It was a little bit chilly this morning. You know, it wasn't real warm yet, and it was kind of tough to get your body warm. Did you feel pretty confident as soon as you stepped up on the mound today? What was going through your mind at the beginning of the game?
Well, I felt pretty good. I felt pretty warm because I woke up early
There you go.
this morning, and I slept at a friend's house,
There you
and
go.
we went to bed early.
Yeah, so you got a chance to get up and warm up early. Okay. All right. Think back on the whole season. I've been asking all your teammates. Every player has a favorite game that sticks out in their mind that was their best game of the whole season. And we're going to talk about individual. I know it's a team game, but what was your best game individually?
Well, it was one of the like 2 games or 1 game ago. It was 34-17. I got inside the park, or like 2 doubles and a single or something,
Okay.
and I scored like 5 runs
Beautiful.
every time.
Every time you got on, you scored? Okay. Let me ask you this. To have an inside the Parker, where did you direct the hit to? Where did it go for you to be able to make it all the way around like that?
Right down the first baseline.
Wow. So that's a good place to pinpoint it. Okay. What are you going to do after baseball? Because you're a good athlete. I'm sure you're going to play some other sports as well. What are you going to do next?
Soccer. I'm going to be a laser goalie.
Great. Okay. Did you play with them last year as well?
No, I decided to play rec league.
Oh, okay. Well, has goalie always been your position?
Well, I just started last year at it.
Okay. Talk to me about probably the best save you ever made last year. Did you have to, I was asking one of your teammates earlier if you had to jump up and lift your body off the ground and make a save or a diving save. What was probably the most creative save that you had to make? Or maybe you didn't have that difficult of a season. Maybe
I
you're...
didn't really have. Well, when I was catcher, I dove and tagged someone.
Did you? So that's when you lifted your body in the air. Okay. All right. Hobbies for you. Fun things when you're not playing sports, because all your teammates seem to have so many different hobbies they enjoy. What do you do?
Well, I like going to the beach and like playing around with my friends because I have some right next to me, and I can walk to their house.
Okay. What's the most enjoyable things you do with your friends? Like play different tag games or capture the flag, or what do you do with your friends that it's the most fun for you?
Well, we set up a rope swing
Okay.
over a big canyon, and we swing up over on it, and like we dug into the ground like really deep, and we set up a fort there.
Neat. Maybe, have you ever thought of maybe making up like a little obstacle course or something like that?
Well, no, not really.
Do like jumping and doing a lot of different things.
Well, we made a trap once for people who came out. We made a hole, put sticks on it, put baseball cards on it, and then covered it with dirt, and then their dog set it off the...
Nice guy, huh? Try to trap the bad guys. Okay, and how are you making out with school? Everything going all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone has a favorite class, and a class is kind of more of a challenge for them. What are those classes for you?
Well, my favorite class is PE, and I like Spanish and music.
Okay. What is it about Spanish that makes it kind of difficult? I mean, obviously, you're not Spanish in nationality, I don't think, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So what part of it is tough for you?
Well, my teacher's mean. She's not really that nice.
That can make a difference. If you don't like the teachers much, sometimes it's tough to really want to learn as much. So I can agree with you there. But all right, closing thoughts on this season. How do you think it's going so far for your team?
Well, I think we're a good team, and I think that we're probably going to come in second or first this year.
Good for you. Sound real confident. Thanks for joining us. Good game, Jake. All right, joining us now are Matt and Marty, two of the coaches here for the Rockies. I have to feel good about a productive season so far. Let me ask you this. Both of you have sons that play on the team. Do you coach your sons in other sports as well, or is baseball pretty much it?
I think baseball is primarily it. That's the game we both know, and we stick to it.
Because that's the same with you as well?
Yeah, I help coach soccer, too.
Okay. Let me ask you this. At this level, the kids are 9 and 10. Where do you draw the line on stressing winning as opposed to just learning the basic fundamentals at this young age group?
We basically just stress having a good time.
Okay.
If we win, it's great. If we lose, it's fine. It's just basically at this age to go out and enjoy baseball.
Okay. Is that your philosophy, Marty, as well?
I agree with that. We just really want to have a good time. Of course, if we win, it enhances the good time, so to speak.
Exactly.
But we really want the kids to enjoy themselves.
Okay. When you come into a game, had you faced this team before this?
Yes, we have.
Okay. So when you come into a game already being familiar with the team, do you have a strategy for each particular team, or do you try to keep it as light and low-key as you possibly can?
Well, actually, what we do, Marty's in charge of player psychology.
Yeah.
So what we do prior to the game, we meet a half hour prior to the game, and Marty analyzes the players and goes over the defensive players with our team, and that seems to work very well, as you saw today.
Okay. Well, let me elaborate on that, Marty. Now, do you elaborate? I mean, do you analyze your players, or do you try to talk to the opposing players and get a little feel for how they're going to act during the game?
Well, actually, I consult with Matt. Matt's pretty low-key, and in fact, he's in charge of sports psychology, and I consult with him. He's been chosen to be manager year after year because he has just amazing ability with the children and gets the most out of them. Very low key and is able to get the kids to just do anything for him. So he's our secret weapon, actually.
Okay. Does it make you feel bad to have to end the game so early on the 12-run rule?
Actually, yeah, it does. It upsets us to take such a lead like that over an opposing team. We usually like to see the game go at least 6 innings.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on the season so far?
It's been a great season. It's been the team's a great team. It's Jim Roth, Matt has been doing a great job. This is our manager here.
Yeah.
As I said, the baseball knowledge is superb. He's been a marvelous leader, Jim Roth as well. And the team, the kids love love the team, and they've been having a great time. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. Coach Marty Greenberg and manager Matt Brower. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And good luck the rest of the way. Okay. That's it. We're going to edit it out, right?